There's a version of France that looks so beautiful on Instagram. The architecture, the food, the Sunday markets, the museums, the brunches. And then there's also the version that nobody talks about. That's the loneliness, when nobody understands you, when you're alone. On Sundays, you don't know where to go, you don't have friends, you're in a new country all by yourself, and your mind is playing games on you. That part nobody shows you on Instagram. My name is Ade. I've been over 8 years in France with children alone. Yeah, today we're going to dig into mental health in France. The loneliness you go through as an expat is different because you're in a room full of people. Nobody knows you, nobody knows where you come from, and you kind of, especially if you don't speak French, you quickly feel out of place. You can't converse the way you'd like to. So, with time, your mental health, you've not had a full, deep discussion with anybody, and you've been in France for some months, it begins to weigh on your mind. I know because I was there. There is also the realization that there's a gap between what you expected and what you actually met on ground in France. The romanticized idea and everything is romantic not as romantic as you thought. So you just push through and you begin to think, have I made a mistake? Was it a good idea to come here? All of these emotions and feelings and thoughts are normal. It's real lived experience, and it's not strange. It's not everybody has that. It doesn't mean you made a bad decision or you made the wrong decision. This is just the price you have to pay for building a new life somewhere else, the loneliness that comes with it. What makes it harder in France specifically is that in France, friendships are very slow. It takes a long time for anyone to really trust someone that comes from someone else, somewhere else, and looks different from them. So friendships are very, very slow. And you're here trying to build a life. It's going to take time. The other thing that weighs on you sometimes, even if you speak French, the fact that you are speaking in a language that's not native to you, it takes a lot of work, mental work. And you're doing that throughout the week, and you find at the end of the week you're just tired. You don't even want to talk to anyone because you're always translating in your head. You're trying to bring up your grammar in your head to see if you did the right conjugation. So, that can also be part of the mental load that you carry throughout the week. Another challenge people face is that on Sundays, actually, France goes really quiet. Nobody's around. And if you don't have a family, you don't have a social circle, you find that your Sundays, you're spending it all by yourself, alone all the time. So that's another heavy one. Then finally, there's the admin hustle. You're trying to relate with CAF, you're trying to relate with the prefecture to renew your visa and stuff like that. And you're doing all of this in a language that's not native to you. So it makes hard days even harder. I must identify that this is not unique to France, but one of the things that can really help you some days when you really feel heavy, try and cook a meal that that you eat back home, the preparation, the smells, everything. In some way, it will kind of soothe the loneliness and the mental stress because you're actually doing something, and also it's giving you a feeling, of homeliness. So cook a meal, that's one solution I would suggest. Another thing I would suggest is trying to find your community. I have to say that I had been doing a lot of things by myself. I had found a church to join, and that really helped a lot. But when I met a group of students who created a group of Nigerians in the city where I am, I was so happy to meet them. They had we had events where we came to eat and cook together, and for me, it was such a relief to be able to interact with people again that kind of knew where I was coming from. I can't tell you, it felt so good. It's nice to find your community as well. It can really help. Equally, it also helps. You find your own community of people that come from where you do. You also need to find your French community because this is the life you have chosen. You have come here, so you make an effort to create a community around you. For me, I found that in church. I found a church close by, and after coming for some time, began to know people. We began to talk to people, started getting invitations to go for collective events. So yeah, while you're making connection with your community from back home, also make time to create your community here in France as well, because this is your life, this is where you are. So you have to have both. In France, we also have what they call Mediatek. It's like public libraries. They usually organize events for international people living in their city. So, the Mediatek was one place I went a lot with my kids, and my kids love books just like myself. So we'd go there, would read. Also, they have events like art events, expositions, and shows and things like that. So I would go there, and that was a kind of way to, have some social activity as a family. So try and find a mediatek in your city close by, and that could be a really big boost to your mood. Something that could equally be interesting is for you to join excuse me, is for you to join a volunteering group. There's this site that's called jevoed.fr. It's a site for you to find the kind of organization you would like to volunteer your services for. There's so many. So once you join one, of course, you meet people from that association. They'll put you through the activities they do. And by doing that, maybe once a week, you get to interact with people. You're bettering your French as well. And, you're just having that social contact that you really need. Another thing that really, really helps is walking. I know it sounds so simple, but walking. France is one of the most beautiful places that I find to walk, because there's always a garden close by. And I'm not in Paris, but in other, areas and cities and towns, you find very beautiful gardens, you find nature, and it kind of suits you. So when you find that you're really, really feeling heavy, take a walk and see something beautiful. Something else that can help is you speaking, recording, letting out what is inside of you instead of you typing. Sometimes it just helps and releases the stress when you can actually speak out what you're going through. So if you try to record it and let out a bit of the mental load, it really helps a lot. And then also, I would also suggest that if you think you really need someone to talk to, you can go on to drlib.fr. That drlib.fr. I'll put all the information in the show notes. You can actually find an English speaking doctor, if you a psychologist, if you want to speak to someone, or in French. So it's a very good app, or site where you can find a doctor while you're in France. So on a final note, I just want to let you know that you don't have to be strong all the time, and it's okay to ask for help. It's really be having an experience in France is great, and having these feelings of loneliness, of mental load and everything, it's normal. You go through that. It's part of this brave path that you have taken to build a new life for yourself, which is, it's really brave what you're doing. So these are just the costs that we have to pay sometimes, and we also have to be proactive in our well-being, so we don't stay stuck. And really, it gets worse if you try to do it all by yourself. So you can ask, I know you're trying to put a strong face for people back home, you're trying to be strong, but sometimes it's okay not to be okay. It's also okay to ask for help. Now, if you need a chat or you want us to discuss further, you have a specific situation, there's my free call, and I'm going to put a guide in the show notes so you can use it if you think it's going to be useful to you. So if you like my content, if it has been useful in any way, please share it to those that you think it might help. Subscribe, and engage in the comments. I read all my comments, and I'll be very happy to help and to respond. So till I see you in the next. Bye.